Hey, Roger Martin here from Village Montana. I thought this was very interesting and insightful. Judge Judy Pirro and Ted Cruz asking him some interesting questions about how long this impeachment is going to last and probably what the outcome is going to be.
There was overwhelming evidence of corruption, and a president is always justified, in fact has a responsibility to investigate corruption. The fundamental argument that disposes of this case, that makes clear the president did nothing that is impeachable, is he has the authority to investigate corruption. And the House managers, they've opened the door to Hunter Biden testifying, and they've made his testimony not only relevant, but critical.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the things that I thought was very important that might lead to a motion to dismiss. I want your opinion. They basically said that the charge, the second article of obstruction, is not based in anything substantive because the House and Nancy Pelosi announcing we're going to begin this impeachment investigation had no jurisdictional authority to grant subpoenas. And therefore, if the president didn't abide by the subpoenas, it's not obstruction. There has to be a vote of the House.
So that's certainly a legal argument that the president's lawyers are putting forth. They put it forth in their brief. I think the obstruction charge is really secondary to the House manager's case. This case rises
but it's one
or
article of impeachment.
It is. I don't think you'll see a motion to dismiss. I think the way things will play out, we'll see the president's opening argument continue on Monday and maybe Tuesday. Then we will have 16 hours of questions from senators. Now, those questions, we can't ask them ourselves, unfortunately. I would love to go round and round with Adam Schiff, but the Senate rules don't allow it. Instead, we've got to write our questions, and the Chief Justice will ask the questions for us. What I expect to see then, right after that, we're going to vote on whether additional witnesses are necessary and whether they're in order. That may be a close vote. We know that...
So after those questions are done, you're going to ask whether or not they don't want other witnesses. We're going to find out if that's going to make this a long journey or not. And it might be a close vote. We don't know. And then if it is, it's going to be a long, if it goes for more witnesses, it's going to be a long impeachment process. If it doesn't, they're going to go for a vote for dismissal and probably acquittal.
All 47 Democrats are going to vote yes.
Right.
There might be 4 Republicans who vote with them. I don't know.
Right. And those 4 being Romney and Susan Collins and Murkowski and who? Lamar?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's the talk. That's the rumor.
I don't think there's any need for additional witnesses. I think we have more than enough to reject these articles on the merits because they haven't proven their case.
And they're in the motion to dismiss.
But I don't think it'll be a motion to dismiss.
What will it be?
Now, he says he doesn't think it'll be a motion to dismiss. And this is probably a key point. Because you don't want this coming up, impeachment trials on any president you don't want on both sides of the fence, Republicans or Democrats. We're going to nip this in the bud.
It will be initially a vote on witnesses. If we vote no additional witnesses are necessary, I think the next vote you'll see is a motion to proceed to final judgment. Rather than dismiss the case, I think we will go to judgment and we will acquit the president, which means we'll...
So they'll go to, instead of dismissal, they'll go to vote on on the judgment. So they'll actually go to judgment, and then he would be acquitted or said no on this merit. There's not really anything to impeach him on. So let's hear this again.
Ourselves, unfortunately. I would love to go round and round with Adam Schiff, but the Senate rules don't allow it. Instead, we've got to write our questions, and the Chief Justice will ask the questions for us. What I expect to see then, right after that, we're going to vote on whether additional witnesses are necessary and whether they're in order. That may be a close vote. We know that all 47 Democrats are going to vote yes.
Right.
There might be 4 Republicans who vote with them. I don't know.
Right. And those 4 being Romney and Susan Collins and Murkowski and who? Lamar?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's the talk. That's the rumor.
I don't think there's any need for additional witnesses. I think we have more than enough to reject these articles on the merits because they haven't proven their case.
And they're in the motion to dismiss.
But I don't think it'll be a motion to dismiss.
What will it be?
It will be initially a vote on witnesses. If we vote no additional witnesses are necessary, I think the next vote you'll see is a motion to proceed to final judgment.
Motion to proceed to final judgment if there are no further witnesses. Motion to go to final judgment, not motion for dismissal.
Rather than dismiss the case, I think we will go to judgment and we will acquit the president, which means we'll stand up and vote guilty or not guilty on each of the articles. I think it's a much better outcome for the president and the country for him to be acquitted, not dismiss and throw the case out, but reach final judgment and find the president not guilty. That's going to be the end of this, because the House managers haven't met the constitutional standard of proving high crimes or misdemeanors. The president has the authority to investigate serious allegations of corruption. There were massive allegations of corruption. There was at least enough evidence to justify an investigation.
But in the end, how long do you think this is going to take? I know you talk about the witnesses taking time if that vote's a long one.
So there's a fork in the road. If next week 51 senators vote we don't need additional witnesses, this will end next week.
Okay.
If not, if 51 senators say we need additional witnesses, now I've led the fight to say if that happens, we've got to be fair. We've got to follow the principle of reciprocity, which means if they get John Bolton, we get Hunter Biden. If we go down the road to witnesses, this could take weeks or even months longer. But at the end of the day, the result's going to be the same. And look, what I'm doing every day when I leave the trial is I'm going and I'm filming a podcast called Verdict with Ted Cruz. I filmed it like the first night, filmed it at 3 in the morning because that's when we were done.
Yeah.
Just talking about in a detailed form the facts, the substance, and the constitutional law issues at stake. I got to tell you, it's crazy. I've never done a podcast before.
Yeah.
In 4 days, we've become the #2 podcast in the country.
Well, first of all, congratulations. And secondly, this is your wheelhouse. I mean, I was in there today. I was so excited. I was afraid I was going to fall over the railing. But you know, I hear people falling asleep, and I say to myself, how could you fall? It's exciting stuff. But anyway, Senator Cruz, it's exciting having you on. Justice, thank you. I hope that you'll be on again soon.
Appreciate it.
And congratulations. And the Senator's podcast went to #1 as soon as we finished that interview. See, I'm good luck for him. Anyway, 2 key congressional members of the Trump impeachment team join me next. Stay with Justice for the truth. Iowa, we're going to keep an eye on it. But my next guests have called this impeachment a charade. Joining me now, 2 members of Trump's impeachment team, Congress lawyers, Congressman Lee Zeldin and Congresswoman Debbie Lesko. All right, thanks so much for being with us. I know it's been a long week for both of you and actually for most of America. But I'm going to start with you, Congresswoman Lesko. You know, what's your take as you watch your fellow House members who are managers in the Senate?
Well, man, it was like reliving a nightmare, I tell you, because I'm in Judiciary Committee and I heard hours and hours and hours of this. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And such exaggerations, out and out lies, quite frankly. I mean, and then really rhetoric. And, you know, that didn't go over very well in the Senate. But now at least the senators are seeing what we had to endure over in the House for hours upon hours. It's just a bunch of, quite honestly, BS.
All right. Well, and Congressman Lee Zeldin, I mean, as you watch this today, what do you think that Jay Sekulow and the president's team, how do you think they handled it? Did they put to rest any issues that were outstanding?
They were awesome. I mean, they were the use of 2 hours to effectively demolish what was 21, 22, 23 hours on the other side with the House impeachment managers. The problem is that Adam Schiff, who he is really trying to write the world's greatest parody. It's a fiction that he's telling. He's trying to connect dots not actually connected. He's relying on presumptions and assumptions and lies and hearsay, going all the way back to those closed-door depositions, cherry-picking leaks and withholding key facts and outright lying back then. He's doing the same thing now, but with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court behind him, with 100 senators in front of him, and trying to, with 10 million people watching at home, trying to overturn an election that already happened and influence the election that's coming up. And fortunately, you had these great people armed with facts, and they crushed it. They eviscerated this case that Adam Schiff really was set up for failure with, because it's a fiction.
In terms of Adam Schiff and the presentation of the House managers, right now, what we heard very clearly today from the president's team was that, hey, look, they're basically calling President Zelensky a liar. How do you think that that is affecting the United States vis-a-vis Ukraine?
Well, it's terrible, and it's really unfortunate because all the Democrats care about is grabbing back power. They don't care about America. Meanwhile, President Trump is going forward, doing great things for America, and all they care about, they're wasting time, they're wasting money, they're shutting down the government, basically, over this impeachment stuff, and it's all political. They just want power. They want to get President Trump out. They want to take over the Senate. They want to retain the House. This is just a power grab. It's like a big act or something. I just hope the American people see through this and see it for what it is.
And the Senate as well, and you know, Congressman Zeldin, I mean, you know, the Schiff is basically saying we got to stop this guy now because the 2020 election, you know, it's not going to be fair. I mean, is the Senate buying this stuff?
Well, on one of the other networks today, one of the Democratic senators was talking about her fear that President Trump might get reelected. This same stuff that Al Green was talking about in the House. And you could play all the videotapes going back to when the president was first elected. And right outside where we are right now, the streets of Pennsylvania Avenue lined up with the signs that said, impeach him now. I mean, while his hand was on the Bible taking the oath, they've been doing everything in their power to try to take him down. And quite frankly, they made their mind up a long time before. But I'll tell you, some of those House impeachment managers actually voted against the aid to Ukraine that they're sitting there trying to attack this president for.
Oh, you know what I'd like? After the show, I want you to give me that list. I want to know who they are who voted against
Jeffries and Lofgren, and there were others as well. And others, some of these House impeachment managers voted for impeachment before any of this stuff even happened. And it was this president that provided lethal aid that President Obama refused to do because of deference to Putin.
Yes, deference to Putin. Congressman Lee Zeldin and Congresswoman Debbie Lesko, thanks so much. And Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch joins me next.
Wow. You got some great lineups.
Valid because they lacked probable.
2 of the FISA warrants were not valid because they lacked what? Here's what she says.
Cause. Here to react to
Probable cause.
this explosive revelation, which most of us knew in the first place, is the president of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton. All right, Tom, look, I could just say to you, hit it. But for the first thing I want to ask you before I get to that is, what did you think of the president's team today in the Senate?
I thought it was great. I'd be a little more outraged than they were, but they were appealing to the jury there in the Senate. And it was nice to see facts, evidence, and the rule of law take precedence over what I call the gossip girl impeachment that had nothing to do with the law.
That's a gossip girl impeachment. Quote unquote. The gospel girl impeachment.
That Adam Schiff. I mean,
I'm going to replay that back. That's so cool. Replay that back.
Place is the president of Judicial Watch, Tom Fitton. All right, Tom, look, I could just say to you, hit it. But for the first thing I want to ask you before I get to that is, what did you think of the president's team today in the Senate?
I thought it was great. I'd be a little more outraged than they were, but they were appealing to the jury there in the Senate. And it was nice to see facts, evidence, and the rule of law take precedence over what I call the gossip girl impeachment that had nothing to do with the law.
That's a good
that Adam Schiff. I mean, they've been held hostage by Adam Schiff. It's been a hostage situation. And the coup began to end today.
Well, yes, you know, and it was very, very interesting. I was there. But all right, let's talk about this FISA warrant. You know, for years we've been talking about the fact that the dossier that was paid for by Hillary Clinton with money laundered through a law firm, an infusion, and a foreign agent who wrote it based upon things that his sources said were actually a lie. We finally get DOJ and the chief judge of the FISA court to say, this ain't good.
Yeah, Justice Department wrote a letter to the judge early December saying that 2 of the FISA warrants were not valid. There was no predicate.
Hi, this is
Page. And of course, it really wasn't about spying Carter Page. It was about targeting President Trump. And the 2 warrants they disavowed were warrants, the FISA warrants signed during the Trump administration, including a few weeks after Mueller was appointed. So it further confirms not only is the president and Carter Page not only are they crime victims, but the whole Mueller operation is compromised to the degree it relied on anything pulled out of the Mueller, the FISA applications run against Carter Page.
Okay, so they say that the warrant was not predicated on probable cause, and that was the last two of the four. Does that suggest to you that they never got to the first two, or what does it tell you?
The court says they're agnostic on it. They're not taking the position, but they're taking the position, though, practically speaking, that all the evidence gathered under the warrants was taken up improperly and needs to be quarantined and sequestered.
Okay, does Carter Page have a lawsuit?
Oh, I would think he is looking at millions of dollars in damages. You have the government admitting they had no lawful reason to spy on him. He's been smeared repeatedly. And remember, this dossier that has been seen, that is really at the heart of the FISA warrants, no doubt.
No, I'm going to stop this. He said something really important. Carter Page, now the government admitted that two of the four had no legal authority. They weren't right. And the other's been in quarantine, 1 and 2, whatever. They don't want to judge either way on those. I think it's going to open up for a major multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the government by Carter Page. Let's play that part again.
Sequestered.
Okay, does Carter Page have a lawsuit?
Oh, I would think he is looking at millions of dollars in damages. You have the government admitting they had no lawful reason to spy on him. He's been smeared repeatedly. And remember, this dossier that has been seen, that is really at the heart of the FISA warrants, no dossier, no Mueller operation.
That's right.
And you know, whose dossier was it again? Oh, wait, Hillary Clinton. And you want to know why this man, President Trump, is being impeached? You want to know why they're screaming about him? Because they're afraid the Justice Department may, after 3 years, finally start prosecuting the Obama Clinton gang.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That's what they're nervous about. Okay. What do you do to freeze the Justice Department? Try to remove the head of the government.
All right. Thank you so much, Tom Fitton. We'll be right back.
We're going to end it there. This is powerful. Are they finally go after Obama Clinton? I hope so. I hope this is the shot that's fired around the world. Good day.